good of a career is tech sales after all? Aside from the money part, what will it do for you long term? How will it affect your mental health? Is there upward mobility? What kind of person will you become? Don't worry guys, we're gonna address all those questions right now. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Untitled Chapter here, aka the best dressed man in tech sales. Don't forget it. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about tech sales and the career aspect, meaning we'll address the question of how good of a career is tech sales after all? So without further ado, let's get into it. In the next few moments, I'm gonna break down seven specific reasons why tech sales is a good career and a career field that you should absolutely evaluate or at least check out, because if you don't, I think you're missing out. All right, reason number one, why is tech sales a good career? Obviously, we're gonna talk about the money because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not working for free, so the money's gotta be right. Now, when it comes to tech sales, there is a high ability to make six figures in a relatively short amount of time, specifically within 3 to 5 years. I was actually surfing on LinkedIn yesterday and a very famous sales influencer posted a little survey poll and he said, how long did it take you to make six figures? And I think there were about 300 people that answered the poll and 62% of them said 3 to 5 years. So that tells me that majority of people are getting to six figures within that time range. And that's exactly how long it took me personally to get to six figures, was 3 years. So that's the number one obvious reason why tech sales is a good career, is because there's a high ability with a pretty decent amount of certainty that you can make six figures if you stick with it. And I think that's the one caveat I'll point out. It's very easy to give up at the beginning, because the beginning is when it's the hardest, right? That first year, the first time you get used to cold calling, the first time you get used to sending the messages, it can be tough, right? But I promise if you stick with it, six figures, it's the path for you. Reason number two, you get amazing benefits, okay? I'm not talking about just good insurance and your dental and your vision and all that, like that's a bonus too. But for example, the company I work for, they give me $1,000 a year for an education stipend. Meaning that if I want to go to a conference, if I want to take some Coursera courses, if I want to do whatever it is for my own personal education, I can expense $1,000. Who else does that? I think tech is the only field where you get those kind of benefits. The other thing they do is they're going to pay for your gym bill, your phone bill, your home Wi-Fi bill. So the benefits are just really, really solid, guys. And I don't know what other industries are offering these types of benefits. In addition to those benefits, I think it's fair to mention this little travel element. So what I mean is, depending on where you're at in your career, you might get flown out every single quarter, so 4 times a year, to a different city, some kind of location, to meet up with your team in person, especially if you're a remote team, for something called a QBR. QBR is quarterly business review, and this isn't necessarily a benefit, but it is pretty cool that we get to get flown out 4 times a year, go to a different city, meet up with people in person, and get taken to really nice restaurants and have really nice dinners. So that's another maybe small perk we'll add on top of that that most people can expect when they are in a tech sales career. Reason number 3, stock and equity, okay? I don't know very many other industries that give their employees stock and equity, all right? Yes, if a company is publicly traded and you work for a large Fortune 500 company, they probably have a program where you can sign up to put some of your own money from your paycheck towards stocks. And I've done that before at past companies. But if you work for a startup specifically, or a pre-IPO company, they will give you a number of shares upon your offer letter, okay? So for example, when I signed my most recent offer letter about 2 years ago now, they gave me X number of shares, right? And if and when the company goes IPO, I'll be able to cash out on those shares and walk away with a nice sum of money. I don't know many other industries that allow you to do that, right? Let's say you work for a small hospital, or I don't know, a small mechanic or a small restaurant. I don't know if they're giving y'all stock and equity. Like, you guys tell me, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think that's in any other industry really aside from tech. So that's reason number 3, guys, stock and equity. It can turn into life-changing money, and especially when you work for a startup or a pre-IPO company, they give you some of that as a part of your offer. Reason number 4, I genuinely believe after a decade in this career that tech sales is one of the best forms of business education. Why? Number 1, you get to work with executives, okay? So you're selling to CEOs, CMOs, chief information officers, all these executives with that C in their title. And you're getting the practice, the live practice of talking business with some seasoned business people who've been doing this stuff longer than you've been alive. So I don't care what your professor says, I don't care what the book says, Tech sales will put you in real life scenarios where you get to really understand what's going on in the business world, how is technology making an impact, and you get the front row seat. So it's really the best education for business in my personal opinion. And outside of that, there are a couple of other skills that we need to make you guys aware of as well. And to make sure I don't forget them, I went ahead and wrote them down. So some of the skills you can expect to learn if you pursue a career in tech sales are, number one, writing, okay? We have to do a lot of writing in tech sales, not only because we're writing follow-up emails, but we're sending prospecting emails out all the time, right? Not only that, we're communicating internally with our managers and our peers. We're constantly communicating, and a lot of that is written language. So you're gonna become an expert writer if you stay in this field for a long time. You're also going to become a superior presenter and communicator because, let's be real, a lot of our time is spent talking and presenting ideas in front of customers. So I'm not even talking just about PowerPoint skills, but literally being able to present information in new and compelling ways is going to be a skill you get to develop time and time again, day after day, if you pursue a career in tech sales. On top of that, you will also become a master at positioning value, okay? Positioning is really the best way to put it is, how do you articulate the value of something for someone else? How do you position an idea, right? Let's say you're trying to get someone to go to a restaurant for your birthday. How do you position it so that they want to go, right? So you'll become a master at that. And the two other things we have to mention are just business acumen, right? When you're talking to those C-level executives, you're gonna learn the language of business like no one else can, because again, you're in the actual trenches talking to the people who make the decisions, right? And through those conversations, you will also learn a good bit about finance, okay? You're gonna learn about things like cash burn, OPEX, CAPEX, and all these other finance terms that you probably would have learned in school, but let's be real, you're not gonna remember those things. So that's why reason number 4, tech sales is a great career, because it's one of the best forms of education that you could possibly get. Reason number 5 why tech sales is a good career is because it's genuinely good for your personal sense of self-esteem and confidence, okay? When you are in tech sales, everybody knows this, you have to face a lot of rejection, a lot of failure, and at the beginning, that's really tough. Like, I'm not gonna lie, personally, in my first year in tech sales, I cried a couple times. Like, just had some really rough days, some bad days, and that's okay. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Don't think it's not going to happen. But look, once you stay in there, all right, if you stick it out for 3 to 5 years, oh my gosh, you guys, you become so mentally tough, super resilient. Your bounce back game is super strong, and you become a more confident individual. And this is going to have positive rippling effects in other areas of your life. For example, when it comes to talking to strangers, approaching people, networking events, even dating, your confidence is going to be higher than the average individual because you've been cold calling and approaching people and strangers for weeks and days and months and years, right? It's nothing new to you. So after you stay in tech sales for a while and you're comfortable with doing things like cold calling and cold messaging, it's nothing for you to walk up and casually approach and introduce yourself to a stranger. So again, this is going to have positive ripple effects in your social life, in your personal life, in your family life, because you get to practice this mental resilience in the field of tech sales. Reason number 6, there's a lot of upward mobility in tech sales, okay? There's a lot of career paths you could potentially go down if you start in sales. First and maybe most common is sales training, right? You could easily pivot into that. The other thing to mention is that if you become really good at sales, sort of like what I'm trying to do, you can monetize your own knowledge, right? There's so many sales influencers out there, and there's really becoming a market for these folks to sell their knowledge and monetize what they have learned over the years. So that's the other thing to mention, guys. If you learn a high value skill like sales, I mean, you could become a consultant, you could become a trainer, you could, do one-off freelance consulting for small businesses. There's a lot of ways you could take that skill and monetize it in the future. Outside of that, you could also become a VP of sales. You could eventually work your way up to be an SVP or a CRO. There's just unlimited paths that you could really go down in terms of upward mobility. But that's the good thing about tech sales, guys. You learn such a foundational skill of sales, which has a high level of value in business. And from there, if you're successful, there's really unlimited paths you can go down. Reason number 7, why tech sales is a great career. And personally, this is the most important reason to me, and I think for you guys probably as well. But reason number 7 is tech sales is a great career because it can help you finance your dreams. Okay, let me give you some specific examples. Unfortunately, in 2012, my father passed away. Ever since then, it was my goal to be able to comfortably retire my mom, right? Because I knew at that point he wasn't going to be there, obviously, to help. She needed some help. That was going to fall on me, right? So I always had this dream and this vision of, buying her a vehicle, buying her a home, being able to furnish that, making her very comfortable. And guess what? In the last 2 years, those things got done, right? Bought her a new car, furnished her brand new home, right? Put a fence around it. We just put in sprinklers 2 weeks ago. And I also was able to purchase plane tickets for her to go back and see her own mother, who she hadn't seen in 10 years, right, in Eastern Europe. So again, when it comes to the long-term goals that you have, you probably need money to finance those goals, right? Some of them, whether it's a travel goal, it's a personal development goal, maybe you want to take a certain course, maybe you want to go to Thailand, I don't know, whatever it is. But tech sales can really help you finance these goals and materialize them. Like, I know so many folks who have done incredible things with their commission checks for their family, for their loved ones, for their significant other. And if you have really big dreams and you don't have the way to finance them, tech sales might be one of the best options for you, because in addition to all the other reasons that we listed, you're also going to be able to finance your dreams. And who doesn't want a way to finance their dreams? I'll wait. So there you have it, guys. I hope that addresses the question of why tech sales is such a good career, and is tech sales a good career? My obvious answer is yes. Again, hope this gives you some data points that you can evaluate to make the decision of whether or not this career field is for you. Now, if you're interested in understanding some of maybe the downsides of tech or the frustrating or stressful parts, go ahead and check out some of those videos on the channel as well. And from there, let me know if you have any questions. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing so already, go follow me on LinkedIn. And last but not least, if you are trying to break into tech sales, or if you are already in sales and you want to up-level your skills, differentiate yourself from other sellers in the market, go ahead and check us out at the B2B Syndicate. See what we got cooking up over there. All right? With that said, guys, hope you have an amazing day, and I will catch you all in the next video. Take it easy now.